Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs continue to dominate college football. Obviously, won the national championship earlier this week, back-to-back champions on the field, but they are killing it on the recruiting trail as well. They always do, right? But I'm telling you what, I've said this for a while now. I think Georgia is going to land the #1 class in 2024, and it might not be close. Today, they pick up a commitment from Jalen Hayward, 5'11", 180-pounder out of Rockledge High School in Florida, one of the top safety prospects in the country. I think he's going to play the star position at Georgia, superstar running back all growing up, but he is a hard-hitting, instinctive defensive back. Could play safety, could play star, plays a lot of cornerback in high school. Plenty of size, physical, knows how to hit, will strike the ball carrier, drive them backwards. He's a big-time player. Second safety they've got committed or landed in the last several weeks, or actually the last couple weeks. I believe it was on last Sunday they picked up a commit from Peyton Woodyard out of California. He's the #3 safety in the country. Jalen Hayward, the #2 safety in the country. And of course, in just a minute, I guess I'm going to talk about KJ Bolden, the #1 safety in the country, who I also think is trending Georgia's way. He's obviously the 5-star out of Buford High School. This kid is the real deal. He's been on Georgia's radar towards the top of their board in this 2024 class at safety for a long time now. Georgia, I think, was the team to beat ever since he visited back in the summer. Obviously, the way they just throttled TCU, Jalen Hayward saying, you know what? I got an opportunity to play for Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, Fran Brown, Glenn Schumann, all those guys, the best defensive staff in college football. I'm going to jump on that. So they've got two of the best committed already, Peyton Woodyard, Jalen Hayward, and I think they're going to get the best of the bunch in KJ Bolden at some point. Now, I would put KJ Bolden at wide receiver. That's just me. He's got elite speed, track star out of Buford High School. I would put the ball in his hands, but it's easy to see the potential he has in the secondary. Long, athletic. Again, he's crazy fast, just crazy fast, tremendous ball skills. He would be one heck of a safety, just like these guys are. I mean, they make plays on the football. Jalen Hayward knows how to hit you. He knows how to pop, and he's going to force some fumbles. He's great in coverage. He's fundamentally sound. He's got good footwork, doesn't get all tangled up. He runs with balance, plays with balance, and closes on the football. When it's in the air, he's going to get to it. And there aren't a lot of guys who got separation against him in one-on-one coverage. And he plays down in Florida, right? Some of the best competition, some of the best talent across the country is where he plays. And he was locking dudes down last year. So as good as he is as an overall athlete, I think Georgia looks at him, Kirby Smart, and says, that's my star guy. That's the next Javon Bullard coming in here just wrecking things, making plays in coverage against the run. This is a guy who could do it all. One outlet has him as the #34 prospect in the country, top 10 player in Florida. If you're a top 10 player in Florida, you have a good chance of playing in the NFL because you're one of the best in the best region in high school football. So top 10 player in Florida does not get much better than that. Top 40 player in the country. This is a big, big deal, and you can read all about him on DAWGS. Now, he's a top 40 player in the country. I've said that, I think, 3 or 4 times now. But if you look at the best of the best, the 5 stars of the 5 stars, the shiniest 5 stars in the 24 class, a lot of them are trending Georgia's way. You start with Dylan Raiola, the quarterback everyone's comparing to Patrick Mahomes, just crazy arm talent, can make all the throws, got the sidearm motion going on. He can chuck it deep. He's mobile. He checks all the boxes. I think he's better than Arch Manning, and a lot of people do. Backed off his Ohio State commitment. I think Georgia's the team to beat. They were the team to beat early in his recruitment before he fell in love with Ohio State. #1 player in the country by a mile, I think. And I could see him picking Georgia. KJ Bolden, guy I just talked about earlier. He's the #2 player in the country. 6'1", 185. You could put him at wide receiver. I think he would dominate guys. Georgia likes him in the secondary. And I think Georgia leads for him right now. #2 player in the country. #5 player in the country, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, currently committed to Ohio State. He's still talking to Georgia, and I think there's been communication with him for a long time. Georgia's not out of this thing. If he decides he wants to back off his Ohio State commitment, guess where he's going to look? I've been told it's Georgia, especially if Dylan Raiola, who is, left his Ohio State commitment earlier, I think he's trending towards Georgia. So if Raiola jumps on board, look for Jeremiah Smith, big-time wide receiver out of Florida, to possibly open things up as well. Sammy Brown, number 6 player in the country. Georgia, Clemson, Tennessee. If Georgia wants him, and they do, they like him a lot. I don't think he's going to go to Georgia and get the playing time that he might at a place like Tennessee or Clemson, although Georgia does play a lot of young guys. We saw that in the national championship. Sammy Brown is legit. I've seen him play multiple times. Big-time running back, hard-hitting, athletic linebacker. I could see him at Georgia. He's got family that are big Tennessee fans. He loves Clemson, what Dabo's doing over there. So it's not a slam dunk he goes to Georgia, but he's right down the street at Jefferson. So he knows Georgia. He's been to Athens 100 million times, as Larry Munson would say. Definitely a guy to know. Mike Matthews and Guy Parkview, wide receiver, defensive back. I think Georgia likes him more at wide receiver. They've got an excellent chance to land him. He's the number 7 prospect in the country, not just in Georgia, in the country. Ellis Robinson, number 8 player in the country, defensive back from Bradenton, IMG Academy. I believe he's from New Jersey originally. I think Georgia is the leader for him, and I've said that on record multiple times on Dog Post. He has loved Georgia for a long, long time. Georgia-Alabama battle. I think Georgia ends up with Ellis Robinson, number 8 player in the country. Let's keep going. Edric Houston, number 13 player in the country. He's an edge defender out of Buford, another Buford Wolf who really likes Georgia. I think the Bulldogs probably lead for him. Big-time pass rusher, but probably going to move inside. I think he's probably 260 around there right now. So he's an athletic defensive lineman, 5-star guy, and I think Georgia leads for him. So that's what, 7, 8 guys in the top 13 in the country right now. Those rankings are going to go up and down, obviously, but you're talking about some of the best players in the country, some of the top 13 players in the country. I could easily see 6 of those guys committing to Georgia. I mean, what they could do in the 24 class, it could be ridiculous. I know 2 years ago, Texas A&M signed the best class on paper in the .com era. Obviously, if you watch my videos, you knew that it was not going to last, and this whole buying a class with NIL was not going to work, and half of them jumped ship. So on paper, they had the best class. And then Alabama's class last year was absolutely ridiculous. Georgia's class in 2024, I think, is going to be the best in the country, and it could rival those two as one of the best we've ever seen. It's ridiculous. But today, it's Jalen Hayward's day. Big-time safety, like I mentioned earlier. I keep getting texts left and right. Sorry about all that. So much going on Dog Post right now. Get confused. I got like 5 texts right there. A lot of it's about recruiting, stuff that I've got to write up as soon as I finish this video. So make sure you're on Dog Post to check out all of the content we have coming in. But the Dogs are rolling on the recruiting trail. The staff is out recruiting right now, visiting a bunch of different schools. Today is the first day of the contact period, so they're out flying the helicopter around to different schools across the Peach State, 100 of them. Video coming up shortly on that. Celebration parade in Athens tomorrow. Lots of big-time prospects are going to be there. We're going to have coverage of all that. Hopefully, got some great pictures that we're going to put up on Dog Post for y'all to look at. But big deal. One of the top defenders in the country, committed to Georgia, and we're going to see a lot of that in this class. I think they are going to load up. They're not going to miss many guys. They are not going to miss a ton of guys that are high on their recruiting board in this class. They're just going to keep rolling. Big deal here. Obviously, back-to-back champs. Make sure you go pick up a copy of Double Dogs. I've got Dogstruction right here, talking about Georgia's 2021 championship. Of course, we had to make another buck, another season, 15-0, undefeated. We've got pictures from the games that you will not see anywhere else. So make sure you pick up that copy, reserve yours today. We're excited to continue working on that book and get it out to you. So make sure you pick it up. Dean has more information on all that, but I believe there should be a link below. So check that out. One day I might write a book on this 2024 class. That's how good I think it's going to be. And when you win games and you win a national championship by 80, 90 points, whatever it was, you're not going to miss on the trail. And this staff was already the best in the country on the recruiting trail. Now they can walk into a living room and have 2 national championship trophies. A couple right here, maybe a Peach Bowl here, a Rose Bowl here, maybe an Orange Bowl here, SEC championship ring if they get those for that. I mean, they got hands full of rings that they can show off to all these big time prospects, and they are going to land most of them in the 24 class. It's going to be ridiculous. I hope y'all join me for the ride as I cover this class. I think is going to be very, very special. Again, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now. I will see you over on Dog Post.